This is episode 240. Mr. Butterbean, enough!
Welcome to Tone Control. We're shooting for number 3 in episodes that aren't just little bits of garbage strung together. Actual content.
I think we're doing pretty good.
We're doing pretty good.
Yeah, we're 3 for 240. Pretty good.
All right. On with it.
Roll it.
Who's gonna
You
talk
can't see
first?
it, but I'm like, I have my hands folded on my desk very professionally.
I was
and
doing
I
the
put my
opposite.
phone down to the side and I was like, yes, I'm here. It is podcast time.
I was playing Host Chicken.
Host Chicken.
Yeah, it's a game I just made up right now, where I almost speak, but then it sort of sounds like you might speak, and then we both just kind of go. Except apparently I was the only one doing that.
I was just waiting, like, yes, Justin, continue your bit.
Here's my bit. We've had a really good couple of episodes with legit content, but don't worry, everybody. We're about to return to the mean.
Yes, things are going to go back to normal.
Regression.
With a whole lot of nothing. Yes.
Regression. Don't worry.
Just had a busy time, and today was one of those days where like I'm so scattered mentally and just can't decide what to focus on because there's too many things that are of equal value,
right?
Including things like I can't focus until the house is clean, that sort of feeling, which I absolutely hate. And sometimes I can do better with that, in certain situations. But today was just one of those, like, I know the sink's full of dishes and that's bothering me. Even like I'm upstairs in my office and I'm just like, I'm going to have to do it after work. But after work, I have to go do this and like so many things. And so, and then the day after tomorrow, we're going to see Foo Fighters.
Oh, shit. That's fun.
But anyway, okay. We'll just cut all that out, Justin.
Just cut all this out. The whining about this stuff. So anyway, you're going to Foo Fighters.
I'm going to see Foo Fighters on Wednesday. It's their first show back. It's not Boston Calling. They added a couple of dates, and the first show back with their new drummer is Wednesday.
Josh Freese.
And I'm stoked. It's like an hour away. It's up at the lake. But it's still, and it's going to be like a whole friggin' ordeal to get up there. And it's our first kind of going out to like really do a thing that we're not going to be able to rush home from with the baby. So my dad is actually coming up like all the way from Connecticut to babysit. Cause like any chance to look at the baby, he's like there. So that's what's going on, and just makes for like a super busy week and stuff. So, and we're meeting some friends there, and a friend we're picking up on the way. So like the admin of everything is just wild. And I'm like, I got to cut the grass too. And, I got to run to the post office. Oh, and I need an oil change at some point. And, I need to replace the battery in my car key. And like all these stupid small things that on any one day, one at a time is not a big deal, but they just keep coming on. And that's when it was like, and if I don't do the dishes now, they may never get done. Like it starts to feel like, you know what I mean? Like the next day, it's like they're still going to be
doom.
there. Yeah. Like Mount Dish Doom. Yeah. So.
Oh my God.
So anyway, I caught up a little bit today though. So that's good. I'm feeling better. Got like 2 of my errands knocked out and looking forward to the Foo Fighters tour. So shit dog.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's what's on my mind now. You do you have this thing where, I don't know if you do or not. Anyway, so I have this thing where I feel guilt about asking some grandparent to look after Aria when I need, or pick her up from, something came up. Is it possible for you to get her from school? Otherwise it's going to be a pain for me because I have to XYZ that I wasn't expecting, this sort of thing.
Guilt about that? We haven't really run into a lot. with
Yeah.
that yet, I think.
Okay. So maybe it's early, but I feel Marielle's always like, ask a grandparent. And I'm always like, oh, I don't want people to like ask people to like do stuff that's my responsibility. You know what I mean?
Because you planned poorly or something? Or
it's just me. It's just like, I just hate asking people for things. And I like to just take care of things that I need kind of thing and not like say, hey, do this for me. But she's always like, ask a grandparent, they want to. And I'm always like, oh, and I'm like, oh, it gives me a stomach ache just thinking about it. And then I ask them and they're always like, could we, you know? And it's like, so I was just thinking about that when they're always there.
We did, my in-laws are about 40 minutes away and my parents are about 3 hours and 40 minutes away. So like
much bigger deal on your end.
It's a bigger deal. But we just had a thing last week where like I was actually getting my tattoo finished and Beth was at a thing after work and we needed someone to pick up Jack. So but we planned around that. Like we knew a week ahead. So.
Right.
But there hasn't been any like, oh, can you get him like this afternoon? There hasn't been anything like that. Not yet anyway. I'm sure that's coming.
Right.
But I don't know if I feel the guilt so much as the like, I guess it is guilt. That like I should be there doing it. And I don't feel bad about asking for help or asking them to do it. But I do feel like, ooh, I fucked up. Like I should be the one picking him up or something. You know what I mean? Whatever it is. But I don't know. Yeah, no, I'll let you know when it happens though.
All right. Yeah, that's just one of my, I think that's a personality quirk of mine. It's like, if there's something that is my task that I need help with, I'm like, oh God, just getting me to ask for anyway.
No, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
There's I have things like that with work. I think maybe it depends on the scenario.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Mondays. We have a schedule now where there's a lot kind of going on and I have to get Aria on and we have to go do a thing after school but it's every other Monday. So it's like not that big a deal, but guess which every other it is.
It's Tone Control Monday.
It's Tone Control Monday. Although I do a podcast every damn Monday, but it's still, it's like,
it's the admin. It's that stupid like you're on a schedule and it makes the stress a little more real or just I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, and that's what I was kind of feeling the last few days. It's just this like everything's got it. It almost feels even up to like we're going on vacation. Like we're meeting you in a place and we're going on vacation together. Yeah. Up until then, like every day is kind of accounted for. As far as like weekends, we're doing this, I've got this podcast night and then I got band practice and like just there's things on the calendar. And I'm like, I just am kind of not going through the motions, but I got to let all these weeks happen to me and then we're going to be on vacation. So it's a weird feeling.
Getcha. Yeah. Well,
somebody's walking a corgi puppy outside.
What?
Sorry, I thought it was a cat for a minute.
It's probably just some common bitch.
One of Beth's friends has a corgi named Cheddar for the B99 crew. Anyway, so feeling scattered, but got it under control.
Yep.
At the end of the day, and here we are podcasting. And oh boy, like I said, everybody, regression to the mean is about to happen. I don't know. There was only one guitar news that I saw was like that pedal that, I don't know, somebody made a pedal and it's Keeley put out a pedal and it's like an overdrive, I think. I don't know.
Dear listener, do you want that? Do you want us to talk about
That's a great question, actually. I do.
Because if you can't see it on our faces, we feel the fatigue of when I get a email, I get like a newsletter inbox and it's like, whatever company, oh, here's our new fuzz. It's a this mixed with a this. Do you want me to come on here on whatever the next Monday is and say, hey, so-and-so made us something or another. It's a this mixed with a this. Because I feel like I could just record that and I'll just play it back every time somebody makes a new pedal.
Yeah, right. Like previously on right or this segment previously recorded or something. Yeah, like that's the thing. We're not a breaking news show, and we've talked about this a lot in the past. But I think it's the fatigue of like there's so much gear. There's just so much. It becomes like I feel tired of. I feel like the listener is tired of hearing about. It's a this mixed with a that, or so-and-so has a new version that's kind of adjacent to this. And that's why I've become really picky about what goes in the show, because I want it to be something that's really exciting that we can have a discussion about.
The discussions were good.
Yeah. So. But right. And in early Tone Control days, it was like Strymon has put out The Big Sky. Right. It was, we've been doing this that long.
You feel like the Tone Control was involved in peak guitar and now we're in post guitar?
I don't know. It was just a little bit of like, it was a really exciting time or in that early days. And there also weren't a lot of guitar podcasts.
It was like, oh my God, maybe we should start a podcast. Oh my God, let's do it.
And it was, I don't know, not to toot our own horn, but toot, I guess. It was still... an exciting time. If there was like a lot of advancing tech really fast, and I feel like that's slowing down a little bit, or it's evening out. And so the stuff, it's been 10 years, and so we've seen a lot of gear in 10 years, a lot of gear, and so that's all. I'm just like saying the same thing over and over, but that's why gear news on the show tapers down.
You know, that makes me think. We're just lighting into it at this point, but like that makes me think about like what is moving right now, because the thing that's going on right now is neural engine everything. Like anything new that I hear that's not just a this mixed with a this is something neural engine, and it's happening all the time in stuff that I'm using for pro audio stuff, and it's popping up in guitars. It was, a few episodes ago there was some amp sim, and it's a neural engine thing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, right.
The thing that kind of stands out to me about a lot of them are like noise reduction stuff that I'm using day to day. And it's like every 1, 2, maybe 3 weeks, somebody makes a new thing or puts out an update for their latest thing. And whoever's on top of the best neural engine noise reduction just keeps getting leapfrogged. And it's incredible, for real. It's ridiculous. I bet it's incredible,
but like how long before you're like, another another I
exactly.
get it, it's better than before. It's like every time Apple says it's our best iPhone yet, you're like, okay,
right. So
it should be.
And I don't know if I'm ready to feel that way about any guitar stuff, because Amp Sim was really good before it was neural engine. Like we'd already gotten over the hump of, and now you should have a Helix even if you have other amps, you know what I mean? We're already past that. So the neural engine one does it just speed up development now? It's like if they're going to make a new set of, here's a new expansion of 5 amps, it actually took us fucking 5 minutes per amp to make, because our neural engine did it when we told them what an orange amp was, and it Googled it and said, okay, I can do that now. Thank you, human.
Yeah. So this is we can actually, all I can think of is that, you remember on Arrested Development when, Lucille's cleaning lady leaves for whatever reason. I think she gets fired or something like that. So she gets a Roomba instead. And Buster is afraid of it.
Right.
Because it's like coming at him and it's like hitting him in the shoes and stuff in his feet. And he drops like Cheerios on the floor and he's like, oh, you're probably hungry. I lost you in the middle of that bit and I don't know if you're laughing or not.
I am laughing. I love yes, always.
Anyway. Oh, you're probably hungry. Anyway, this is actually a good segue into the first bullet on the notes. So all right. Play me a sound.
Okay. Which one? This one.
I don't know what that is. I was really good at that for a while.
Yeah, this is one I haven't. So the Supapus.
Oh, cool.
Which is which one? It's the
Way
one
Huge.
Way Huge. They make all this stuff out of thin metal.
Yeah, and they're all anodized and very cool looking.
They're like lightweight but not cheap. Anyway, cheap feeling.
So I had my first gig a couple days ago with this new band. We're called A Blockbuster Summer. I don't know if I've mentioned that, but covers.
It rings
we did
a
emo
bell.
night. Hey, yeah, ding.
Oh yeah, ding.
First gig, first outing with the new band. Fortunately, it was a place I had been before, I'd played before, so that didn't feel new, which was nice. Cool. It's a super dive, but that's fine. New rig, new guitar, new songs. Like, it was a lot of like fresh. And as we were setting up, I was starting to feel a little like, oh, okay. Like, yeah.
In that butterfly vibes. Yeah.
Yeah. Just like, ooh, I should like take a minute and just take a lap,
Yeah.
Let me just calm down a little bit. Yeah. And new in-ear rig, all that stuff. We're doing wireless in-ears and stuff. So now our mix is entirely independent of the front of house mix. Mm-hmm. So we can just send a snake out to front of house. They do whatever they want. Right. And we can modify our mix for our ears on a phone or a tablet over Wi-Fi. So it's great. So that's all new and different, but much better than I had it set up in Delaney, because in Delaney we were using a mix from the monitor send, so from the board. So like you were
still a little relying on them. It just wasn't.
Yeah, so we'd have to tell the sound guy, I need more kick drum, I need more vocal, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So it was basically just replacing the floor wedge, right? And we're also wireless in ear now, which is much better. So anyway. Gig was great. Went perfectly. I couldn't have asked for a better situation for a first show. Like, obviously there's your little hiccups and little bits where you're like, I'm probably the only one who noticed that, but you sort of think about that for a moment.
Yeah.
And it was really fun though. Like I had that thing of like, oh right, you get sweaty at gigs. Like that. I got a minute. Yeah, like, ooh, okay, yeah, maybe I should pack extra socks. That kind of stuff. Like, maybe I should have this in the car.
That thought has never in my life crossed my mind. Extra socks?
Oh, I have extra socks in my car at all times. Shirt's a good idea.
Yeah.
I might just start doing a shirt. I have always had extra socks in my car.
Oh, okay.
Just out of I jokingly call them my in case I shit myself socks.
In case you shit your feet, I guess.
Yeah. So like, it's the bit about like when I'm packing for vacation. Mm-hmm. For like, I'm going on a 5-day vacation, I better pack 12 pairs of underwear in case I shit myself every day. Do I need 4 French horns or 5? So I just, I keep a couple pairs of socks and joke about the in case I shit myself socks.
Some people might have like a kit for reinflating a tire.
No, I've got 2 pairs of socks in the car. Yeah.
The tire's gonna be flat, and you're like, I'm gonna have toasty warm feet.
This got dry feet. Yeah. So, but anyway, the gig was great. But while I was there doing the setup, the thing about the new in-ear rig too is I can hear my tone much better. Not just like if I am playing and if I am playing the correct note. Because my in-ear setup before had really shitty earbuds, and it was mostly just for click and monitor. So it was
didn't care. Yeah.
Didn't really, the tone I knew was good because I had done it at home through good headphones and I used it at practice and I knew it was good. But live, it was always like, boy, this sounds like butts. And I just had to go on faith that it was good. And it was. So, but now I have better earbuds. And I'm using the Shure 215s, which are like
215. I was about to say it's the 215s, right? Yeah, and
it's the 215s. They're $100, man.
Considering they're not $300, that's the thing that I keep saying. Because I've recommended those to a bunch of different people, and it's like this seems to be. You can look at the whole line of like, here's the possible in-ears you could use, and it's like, well, the 215s seem like the go, and I'm like, yes, you were correct.
They are the go. I did a bunch of research, like if you should get the 215 or the next one up. I think it's the 415?
Yeah.
And the consensus is no. If you're going to spend more, you have to spend you have to go way up the range. You have to spend like 5 times as much before you get a real measurable difference.
Right.
So get the cheap ones. So anyway,
right, exactly.
It's nice to hear like the quality of your playing and stuff, but I can now, bringing it back to our segment just before this, confirm none of this shit matters.
Like how well you hear yourself, none of it fucking matters.
Just like,
is that what you're saying?
I don't know. Like I had 4 gain stages on my pedal board, and I'm like, no one out there can tell, right? No one out there is like
Okay,
oh yeah, he
I
turned
see.
off the Tube Screamer side of that duelist, and now it's just the Klon that I'm hearing. No one gives a fuck. Or like, oh, the boost is a little fatter in the lows than the other sound he was using for that other song. It is unnoticeable to the end user, or to the end listener, I should say. And it's really just for me. Right? And which is fun. There's a fun aspect to that.
Yeah.
But like, Jesus Christ, like we put so much weight on this stuff thinking it's important, and God, it's not.
Yeah, I mean that's it's definitely okay. I'm sort of feeling like pushing back on that a little bit. It's not that it doesn't matter.
No.
It doesn't.
Okay.
It doesn't matter in the sense that nobody is saying, "Oh, that distortion's a little bit different than the one he used in the last song." But there are things that you can put into constructing those tones. Like, I'm going to use this pedal for this song, and this one fits better in this other one. Especially when you're doing something like you're doing, where a bunch of covers and stuff that make it work. For, I mean, there's a way to construct a distortion tone so that it's going to have the rhythmic feel you want. Versus some other song where it needs to be more strident or something for like chords or single notes or something like that, And, every time I don't know why, whenever I think about this particular issue, I think about Jimmy Eat World, like the middle, like the guitar tone in that song, I think is specific. And I've heard cover bands do it with just whatever the fuck distortion. And usually it's too much gain. That song has almost nothing, and it has to be, it's the, the whole song is the rhythm. It almost doesn't matter like the rest of it to a certain extent.
Totally agree.
And that, so anyway, so I think like, it's not that anybody stands up and says, oh, now he's using a much lighter thing or something with a lot less bottom compared to what he was using in the last song. Nobody's paying attention to that, but it does still fit the song. Like the changes you're making, will make one song work and then the next song. And it is one of those things where if you do your job right, nobody noticed that you did your job.
That's what I mean. Yeah. Like, and I think the people who are going to notice first are you, the player, and then second, maybe the other people in your band, third, the other bands there that night. And fourth, maybe the sound guy, like
literally Justin, when you tell him about it later.
Like, so I'm just saying like, to take the pressure off of yourself about like, well, this overdrive's got like a little more going on at, I don't know, fucking 800 hertz or like whatever. Like there's just like that sort of nuance and subtlety is exhausting, and you can burn yourself out on that kind of thing. And I have done that. And now when you're there live and everything's different, all your shit sounds different because you're in a different room. Well, guess what? Like, it doesn't matter anymore. So it's not that it doesn't matter, but I just think like we shouldn't put so much weight on such intense subtlety. intense subtlety.
That's funny. But
it was great. It was great.
That's awesome. So what do you play? Do you guys play like multiple sets, I assume? Or wait, no, was this an emo night?
This was an emo night. Okay. So we did one set that was like an hour 20, and then there was another band that came on, and maybe an hour and 15. It was a long set. So that's the
cover
other thing
bands
is
get to play a long time.
Cover band world, like an hour is minimum.
Right.
Like especially for themed nights, it's like a minimum.
And if you're doing a not theme night, you might have 2 or 3 sets on your own, right?
Might be the only band. Yeah, very, very well could be the only band just out of where their music for the night.
Right.
Eric, who we've mentioned on the show, pro guitarist in our group, does this thing where multiple sets are totally normal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my parents used to do that.
It's just the way it is.
And they would do 4 sets of and I imagine theirs would be like 45 minutes to an hour or something like that, but it's...
Yeah, then take a break. Half hour, whatever, get something to eat. So that's we haven't done that yet. This is like I said, the first gig, but I'm looking forward to that kind of thing because I feel like I could settle in a little more. Yeah. Do you guys? I hate the turn and burn of it all.
Oh yeah. Well, right. So you have like a longer stretch. You really feel like you've. This is weird. You've gotten your money's worth. I know it's sort of the opposite.
Well,
of that,
but like you've gotten your time's worth where you're driving an hour away, you're loading like $1 zillion worth of gear into your car. Yeah, and you're
Did you bring an amp?
I brought my HX Stomp rig and a head rush.
Okay, right
the FRFR cab.
Yep.
Just for some stage volume.
So pretty lightweight.
Yep, I had 2 guitars because which I would prefer to not have to do, but we were playing in E standard and E flat standard, along with their corresponding drop tunings. So drop C sharp for a couple of songs. But because this is the other great thing is this band just plays in the original key, so I don't have to do any of this bullshit.
But you still don't want you don't want to be you still want to use a different guitar for those other things because that's a long way to take
it's a long way to tune
in a night.
And I was playing my Novo, which has a Jazzmaster style trem on it, and to take that from standard down to drop C sharp, it just doesn't agree right away.
Like doing that.
Yeah. So I just have another guitar that's set up for E flat, and I brought it with me, and it was perfect. Like, it's great, and I have heavier strings on it because I like heavier strings for lower tunings, and there you go. No sweat.
Makes perfect sense. Yep. Makes perfect sense.
We group the set like all other bands do by tuning a little bit. So it's like this first stretch I'm playing one guitar, the middle stretch I'm playing the other guitar. It's nothing really to worry about. I've lost you. There you are.
Nope,
back.
Still here.
That was a quick one. So anyway.
Yeah.
It's a good show. Okay.
Cool. I can play a random sound because why not? I'm going to play this one. Oh, I probably used that last time.
I don't know. Is that the Loma?
No, that's the Latitude from Wampler. Oh. Not the Loma.
That's a great trem, and here's my Loma on a shelf in my office, looking pretty.
I had a band in yesterday. Actually, we did a weekend thing because some people have jobs. Derek. So we did anyway, we were doing overdubs, guitar and bass and some vocals and stuff on
Sorry, I muted so you didn't have to hear me rocket boogers out of my nose.
I understood. I can't wait to find out that it probably didn't mute in Logic. No,
it did. I turned my input down. Yeah.
Oh, okay. You did it at the hardware.
You're welcome.
Wise. So wise. I edited a podcast with somebody recently who was muting, but only what the other person could hear, and they were yelling at their dog.
I love that.
So the other person's talking, and they clearly think that they can't. The other contributor can't hear him. Stop it!
Knock it off!
Stop it! It's fucking yelling at the dog. So like go through the thing, just check.
Man,
so good. So good.
I imagine it's like some funny pet name too. Mr. Butterbean. Enough.
I don't even remember what the name was. It wasn't a super stupid one, which is too bad. That would have been even better. But
a friend of mine posted today that he's getting a dog named Bagel.
Oh no.
Anyway.
Why was I thinking about that? Oh, so we were doing
a band in.
Yeah, we were I never record with I almost never record with amps at the time. If I use an amp, it's only going to be like after I've done the track, and then I'm going to edit it, and I'm only going to play that song one time through a guitar amp. You know what I mean? Like the loud thing. So we have this plan, and we set up, and we're using the rig that I have here. So the UAD, the high gain amp that I have is the Engel Savage 120, which is pretty fucking good at creating a lot of different sounds. It has there's different speakers. There's a Marshall with greenbacks. There's a few different, a Mesa and something else that have vintage 30s. And then there's a bunch of mic combos. And so there's like 50 things that you just sort of scroll through while you're playing and listen to how it changes. And the funny part is it's fairly subtle, but on the other hand, like it's usually making more of a difference than like comparing distortion pedal A to distortion pedal B, the way we're always it's like, this is all sort of coming together and churning in my mind tonight. And, but anyway, we're going through the thing and I'm clicking through and I'm getting this immediate feedback. The guitar player is standing right here, right? And he's playing and he just goes, oh yeah, I like that one. And then I click the next one. Oh, that's even better. And I click the next one. Oh, that's even better. Literally just going down the line. And and that's the thing, like almost any of these you could make an argument for. And I started kind of nixing a few of them because there's this, you're doing this high gain thing, but really some of them are too extended in one range or the other. But anyway, so I found like 3 different things and I set them on this A, B, C, and I can flick back and forth between them and then we land on one. Great. And then on the other song, he switched guitars. And I don't know what the fuck. One of these guitars has super distortions in them. The other guitar has something else. They're actives. And the next one was it seemed like a little hotter and a little less clear. So we swapped guitars into the same patch. But the way I'm doing it, and this is also like awesome, the why I was so excited about using UAD Luna, because I can have these plugins in real-time mode, but not recording to track. So I'm recording a DI that I never have to hear. And it's just, it's running with no latency on the thing. It's turning itself onto no latency mode versus going into buffered mode when I'm on the other track. And it's just doing it all on the fly because it's all integrated with my hardware. And anyway, whatever. This isn't what this podcast is about. But the point is, it's working really well.
Well, it sort of is.
Excitedly, I'm recording, and usually I would sort of use it like a pedal. Like I would print the sound to the track. And if I made a change to the sound, I would sort of have to go back and retrieve my DI and stripe it back through again, which isn't that big a deal. But here, I'm using it as a live plugin the whole time, even on playback. And it's working great. So as he's playing, I'm adjusting to this new guitar, and I end up with like the gain is slightly down and the mids are slightly up and the presence is slightly down, and suddenly I'm happy with it. You know what I mean? And that's how, and so now, and then that's saved in that song, and the other song still has my other setting, and
Wicked.
And I still have a DI, so I could still go run it through an amp if I want at any time. So it was working really well. But like the fact that I thought this guitar is not like, he wants to play it, and I'm like, sure, variation's cool, I don't care. Although in my head I'm thinking, this one isn't quite as clear, I'm not sure if I like this. But then I make these like, it's on a screen, right? So I make these like 1 pixel adjustments to 3 knobs, and suddenly I'm like, we've achieved it. And it's like, what, that amount of change, like really? So anyway, what's Matt saying? Awkwardly mid-forward? Oh, the real
talking
amp.
about the real amp versus the plugin.
I mean, I've never been in the room with a real Savage 120. I will say that UAD usually does a really good job of the accuracy thing, as much as important or not important as you think that is. But the different cabs, like they have the Angle Pro, the Angle XL, the Marshall with greenbacks, and a Mesa with vintage 30s. And it is wild how different they are. Like the Marshall ends up being the kind of mid-forward one. The XL has more low end than the other Angle cab. And then the Mesa one generally strikes me as the most kind of evenly balanced. But that's going to be different for different guitars. So I don't know. So if I was in the room with one, you might think it was really mid-forward, but it might be you pair it with another speaker and it's suddenly very different. I don't know.
Cabs are such a wild thing. Like that's an entire world of, it's like pickups, right? Like you could go down this endless road of combinations or variables or whatever. I am interested in that, but I also know that if I go in deep, it's over for me.
Yeah.
I'm a goner.
I've never not been able to find a sound that I thought sounded really kick-ass out of that plugin. I said UAD. It's actually Brainworks made this for UAD for whatever reason that makes. You can actually get it in software. It doesn't have to be a UAD version. It's the same plugin. But anyway, I've never needed something that I couldn't find in that amp. Even clean tones, it does okay. I think.
I remember you've used it on the show a ton.
Yeah.
Like it's just like the Justin tone.
A little bit. And I think sometimes that it would be nice to have something like an HX Stomp or something. I don't need the big thing, but just have something like that for when people come in so that I don't have to say, well, we're going to basically try to make the sound out of the Savage 120 and then later I can run it through your amp if you want, but this is what we're going to do. having a Helix where it's like, oh, you play a JCM 800? Okay, great. Yeah. Here you go. Now you feel the most comfortable. And so we had that discussion a little bit, but as soon as I clicked on, he was like, oh, this kicks ass. And we get,
there you go. Yeah.
You get through the song, you start laying in the double track, and it's like, whew, this song is ripping. And the drum mix is terrible. The drum mix is totally raw, what I picked up off the mics. and everybody's like, yeah, we kick ass. And it's like, okay, so
wait till I do my work on
right, this. Exactly. So the sounds are working clearly because people are excited about the music and they stop worrying, oh, maybe we should run it through this amp. We got through the end of the day and he's like, I don't feel like hauling because the question was either I go there or he comes here with a 412 sometime. And at first, I'm like, I'm totally willing. And by the end, he's like, we don't need to do that shit. I don't feel like picking that up.
So, I mean, you have all the UAD stuff, but like, have you considered the Helix plugin for anything? Just for that, massive library of stuff?
You know what it is I don't, as soon as I do something like that isn't hardware, then I step out of my realm where I never have to think about computer buffer.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So like if it's UAD plugin and it runs on Apollo, then I'm good. If it's a hardware like an HX Stomp that I can literally just put in front of my rig,
pedal format,
then I don't have to worry about the computer. And so sense. I'm in this like, I don't know, place of privilege, I guess, but it doesn't cross my mind. I have stuff that I can only use in a mix because it's only software. And so I never put it on live inputs. But it makes me not reach for it because of that. So
that makes total sense. I don't have any of my gear hooked up tonight, but I'll share my preset that I was using for the Emo Night stuff. It was based on one of the Line 6 original amps, which is kind of cool.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, sounds great. That's cool.
Should I play another? I just took over that whole segment. I'll play another sound.
Fine. It's not like there's anything going on here.
Play a classic. Classic
peak
stuff.
Tone control from 10 years ago. So I have another reverb.com story. I'm wearing my Reverb shirt tonight in celebration.
Reverberations.
Yes. So I sold a pedal on Reverb. It goes out, gets to where it's going. Most things, I think, you may have to turn this off in Reverb, is the sold as is setting, or whatever you call it. So it's like basically
so this is about whether you'd take it back if there was something wrong with it.
Yeah. So it's sold as is, meaning unless it arrives in a description or in a condition that is not described, it's
smashed on the trip. Yeah.
Yeah, or like misleading description or photos or something like that.
Right.
So, unless that, it's your pedal now.
Yeah.
Kind of thing, right? Mm-hmm. So pedal goes out. Guy's like, great, looking forward to it, excited, cool. Gets it, messages me. He's like, hey, let me pull up what he said actually, because it's just a very brief exchange.
Name and shame.
Messages, here we go. He says, hey, happy with the pedal, but on the second day, the LED is no longer working. Brownie face.
Okay.
So I'm like, oh, sorry to hear that. Does the pedal still work? Or is it just the LED? Yeah, it works. It's just the LED light is out. It's going to be annoying to know if it's on or off. It's a drive pedal. You're going to know. But, he's not asking me for anything.
Yeah, he's wondering
he's just
what
letting
you'll
me
say.
Know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I haven't responded to that, and it's been almost a day, and I'm just like, this is exactly what that as is thing is for, because it arrived to you working, and it arrived to you. You told me on the second day it broke.
Is this how old is this pedal?
A few years. It's
not
one that
20.
No. It's one that didn't leave my house even. Like I put it on a board, did some stuff with it, took it off. Like it was just in rotation here in the home office.
Yeah.
So it's probably something that just got knocked loose shipping or something, right? I don't know. I packed it well. I had the original box.
Yeah.
Bubble wrap, the whole nine. Like I did a good job.
Yeah.
So I don't know. This is not much of a story, I guess, but it's just sort of like this.
Do you want to crowdsource your reply? Is that what you want? Is that what we're doing?
I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't want to tell the guy like, well, sorry, dude, it's your pedal now.
Yeah.
but it's sorry, dude, it's your pedal now is the answer.
So what about the language that's like, that sounds like a pretty easy fix?
Yeah, I was thinking about something like,
if it really
it's probably just a broken solder. I bet you, something like that. I bet any pedal builder could zip this together for you. No problem.
I mean, that is literally just one thing. They don't, you don't have to be a solderer to do that.
Yeah, Matt says, sounds like he messed up. Maybe he did. Maybe he dropped it. Who knows, right? It could have just been whatever. The reason is not really relevant, right? It's just...
That is what it is. Yeah.
If it had arrived and he plugged it in, he's like, hey, this LED doesn't work. That's totally different.
Right. Because you would have said like, LED doesn't work.
It had just been sitting on my shelf. Right. And I put it in a box and mailed it. Did I plug it in right before mailing it? No. And I wouldn't have checked because really I had taken it off the board and it has sat on the shelf for a year. Yeah. So like, I'll just throw it in a box. Off it goes. It's fine.
Obviously it's fine.
Pedals are tough, right? Like they're designed to be stepped on. So like it's, I don't know. So maybe the LED got fried. Like it could be anything.
Yep.
So yeah, I haven't written him back yet. But yeah, I don't know. Sound off. Let me know in the comments.
Yeah. I feel like that is I feel like that's that
easy town fix.
I'm sorry that happened, or okay, so here's a almost maybe this is a more compassionate way of saying it, because I'm always thinking this way when I'm trying to tell somebody something that they don't want to hear. It's like maybe if I find them the compassionate way to say it, they'll feel better and they'll accept it more or something. So I don't know, something in the direction of like, oh man, if that had happened when I had it, I definitely would have fixed it before putting it on reverb or something. That's a quick fix. I'm sure you can take, I don't know. I'm saying too many words now, but yeah.
Right. But like, if it's just the light, I'm sure that's an easy fix.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or like, you're going to have to pay for it, but I'm not going to go refund you $20 or something to get this dealt with.
Right.
So.
Right. Exactly.
This is it's an interesting thing. This is the second time this year that this has happened to me with reverb. With people messaging me after the fact with stuff they've bought. And you're like, well, it's kind of doing this. And they want me to do something about it. And I'm like, well, here's the thing though. You are the owner now. Right.
It's so interesting that you're telling me this story.
Yeah. Oh, I used to have that pedal.
Wait, so here's the other angle. Oh my God, I used to have a pedal just like that, and the LED worked.
And the LED worked great. That would be the shittiest thing to say. Oh my God,
ultimate troll. Oh my God, I had one that was exactly the same as that, except my LED worked.
I sold it and it worked then, but weird. I don't know. Oof.
Yeah.
Anyway. Oh boy. So we can move on to the next thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Exactly. This is about how hard you think about this is about how many stars you want that review to have, or how much you care about the review.
I don't care a ton because I sent it in working order. It arrived in working order. End of story.
Right.
So.
Yep.
Anyway, I saw this video today on my Instagram feed interviewing people in guitar media. What guitar, and I'm going to expand this, what guitar or music technique gives you the ick?
Okay.
And I want to know from...
Gives you the ick. I'm going to play a sound.
It's the friggin' Seafoam again.
It's the friggin' Seafoam. I need to populate more of my board here. I'll work on that. Okay, which guitar or music technique gives you the ick? I think I need some examples of what counts as a music. Oh, actually, I've just thought of something that icked me today. Never mind, I thought of something.
Okay, I mean, it's pretty broad when we say music, but you're more exposed to the recording side of things than I am, and I'm not going to gatekeep this at guitar technique only. So what happened?
Okay.
Lay it on me.
Okay. So here's, and I think this is probably not a very popular opinion, but I've tried twice. Today was the second attempt at listening to that new Nickel Creek album.
Oh.
I do not dig it. I'm trying to find if there are some songs on there that I like, but it is... And so here's the thing, and I was sort of
shocking to
I'm
me,
sort of thinking about it because I'm driving and I'm continuing to listen to it because I'm like, what's wrong with me, And so I'm trying to like, maybe I just haven't heard it enough. I remember feeling this way about some Incubus records where I didn't get it at all for like a fucking year, and then later I went back and realized that I liked it, or had, you know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like, what is it that's bothering me? And I don't know. So there's this thing that they're doing on this album that I get that they're like not trying to impress me with their pop sensibilities on this album. Yeah. So I'm trying to like be accepting of that. But there's this, it's like, it feels like every single song has this, I say a few words and then I hold on this note, and then the next person does the same thing almost in a round, and then it just keeps going like that. And it's like the first song does that, and then there's like a little break because they're being prog rock for a little while, and then they do it again, and then the next song comes on and they acoustic prog rock for a while, and then they do that some more. And I'm like 4 or 5 songs into it, and I'm thinking, it's just this. It's this thing. And a lot of times they're using, chords that are, challenging chords, right? They're challenging my ear, right? At the same time. And I feel like I'm besieged by melodies I can't remember, and then interspersed with these little licks where I'm like, there it is. There's a cute little thing that would really do me, but they're like hook dodging, and they're just throwing me drones instead. And then juxtapose that with, I like listened twice straight through that Sleep Token album that finally fully released. And it's like, it's the songs that we were previewed. Sleep Token had previewed us some songs like before their album, half the record, and they were good. And I was like, this is cool. But as a full album, there's something that connects it, like seeing a trailer that doesn't give away the whole movie somehow, but still represents it perfectly. That's a great way to put it. And so I listened to it, and I got to the end, and it looped, and I let it go, and it's great. And there's some proggy shit in there, but it never loses the point. It always helps me through it. It always tells me what's the foundation here. The foundation's a rhythm. Now the foundation is this chord. Now the foundation is this other feeling. That
idea, though, is the foundation of the Nickel Creek record, that theme, that style.
I don't know.
And that you just don't agree with it?
Maybe.
So that's giving you the ick. You listen to that, and it's just like, it's not...
It's bugging me. It's the constant use of that vocal thing. It's mostly
like a motif sort of, but See, there's like what friggin' record is it? There's a Jimmy Eat World record where there's like a snare drum motif. Like every song has this like do ka do ka ka. Like there's this kind of.
Oh, I think that's just the drummer of that band. That guy just always plays that.
I know, and then there's there's that kind of pattern in like 70% of the tracks, and it's just this like it is not the same, but it reads to me as like a choice that's like a motif. Like it is the thread connecting all of these songs is that snare pattern, and it's very musical in every setting. And it's not like, oh, that's the beat from that other song, because it's not the beat, it's just the snare that does this thing.
Okay,
and it is very Jimmy Eat World. It is totally it might be Surviving, or maybe it's Chase This Light. I can't remember which. It's one of those two. I would believe
Chase This Light. I don't think Surviving, because Surviving's the one where I feel like
it's
each
not
song is from a different Jimmy Eat World album.
Yeah, right. I'm seeing them later this year. Yeah. I'll have to find that and post it around, because it's a cool thing that I notice, and I think it is Chase This Light.
See, I've always, I notice what you're talking about. My perception of that, though, has always been that drummer, he has a thing. It's
Zach Lind, yeah.
Yeah, he has
he's a really good follow on Instagram, by the way.
Oh, yeah? He strikes me as he has a sound in the way like a singer usually a singer is usually the one who has a sound. Or there's plenty of guitarists through history who they have sort of a signature sound that sticks out from the globally the rest of the world of guitarists that might be more shifty.
Yeah.
But like the Jimmy Eat World drums. It's funny because is that a band you think of and it's like, oh man, that band wouldn't be the same without their drummer in the way that like, well, let's talk about Foo Fighters. I mean, the fact that, this is how I feel about the Foo Fighters picking up or essentially, this is official, right? Hiring Josh Freese. Yeah. Like Josh Freese is the cream. Right.
He's been in everything. Yeah.
He's been in everything. He's in a global all-star, but that's the level, in my opinion, that's the level you have to go to when you are replacing the drummer that Dave Grohl picked, you know what I mean? Like that was good enough for Dave Grohl,
so like,
you know? There's onion layers to how good you have to be in the Foo Fighters.
But you're still in the band with the greatest modern rock drummer there is, Dave Grohl. So like, you know, is Dave writing the drum parts that he's playing? You know, there's a total vibe. It's very different. And like, I think he's doing they did that like rehearsal video thing recently. So you can go watch that. And he sounds fucking great. Playing the parts really cool. But I'm still kind of like, you know, you have the influence of Dave Grohl, one of the greatest drummers there is.
Yeah.
In your band. So like, right, there's...
Well, so what's going to happen?
Is it the best example?
I know. Well, okay. Is it the best example of what I was talking? Yeah. The thing I was trying to outline was sort of that I think a lot of people would consider Jimmy Eat World is not one of those bands where the drums are the important thing. Where if the drums changed, it would change the band. Maybe not everybody thinks that. People have expressed that sentiment to me.
Yeah. I think it depends on maybe how big a fan you are.
Well, maybe. And
like how familiar you are with the parts.
Yeah,
but yeah.
I felt when that was said to me, I thought about it and said, actually, I don't think I agree with that because he has a signature. And it's that, to a certain extent, that snare thing, yeah. I mean, there's just one album. There's one album where it's really strong. It's like a lot, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, there's that little drum lick again. And it's great. He works it into the main parts. He works it into fills and stuff. And so anyway, that does not give me the ick.
Okay, so now we're on to the Josh Freese thing though that Matt's talking. Yeah. Yes, Josh Freese is way better than Dave Grohl. So was Taylor Hawkins. That's why Taylor Hawkins was in the Foo Fighters, because you have to be. That's the thing. Yeah. That's the situation that exists. That's why, I mean, it was tumultuous at the beginning of Foo Fighters, right? Because there's this whole thing where Dave Grohl wasn't letting anybody in the band actually play their parts kind of business.
No, there was another drummer whose name I can't recall. There was another drummer pre-Taylor Hawkins that Dave went in and redid all of his parts for Color and Shape, I guess? Or no.
It'd be the one before that.
No. The one before that is all Dave. It was for is it Learn to Fly, the name of the record?
I don't know. That was after
when they
Color
were all
and Shape. So Color and Shape was the second one.
It was the it's a record with Learn to Fly on it. I can't remember if that's the name of it or not, but it's when they were a trio. When they had half as many members as they do now. But he did all the drums on the album, I think. I could be getting this wrong. I'm getting my timeline mixed up now. But there's something like that on one of those records. The drums were recorded. He went back and did them and kicked the other guy out. This is pre-Taylor Hawkins. But so anyway.
But that's the thing. He had to keep going because he's one of the greats. He had to keep going until he found the person who would, you know what I mean? You have to be the person who's better than Dave Grohl to be there in that room. And so now then you've got decades of legacy that you're on top of the previous situation that you're replacing. So,
Dave Grohl is the drummer on the newest Foo record, the one that's coming out soon. That makes sense.
Yeah. And you wonder what's going to happen now. Is Josh Freese going to interface? Does he
become like a writing member?
Right. Yeah. Exactly. I don't know. He doesn't have to. He doesn't have to. You know, and that would be perfectly fine. There's so much history there but they could go the other way too. It could be this demarcation point because obviously Foo Fighters is a group that is playing music for music's sake. You know, they've done these theme albums and things like that. So obvious, and we're gonna write a song a week, and the thing that they did with HBO that came out so great.
Oh yeah, Sonic Highways.
Yeah, and so obviously, like it could go either way. You could have where the core Foo Fighters is going to retain, and Josh is here to help us, or it's now we can turn a page and do something different if we feel like
based on what I've seen, like Matt's saying in the chat, I think he is in the Foo Fighters now. Like it sounds like he is. Their marketing is like, this is our guy now, and it sounds like I haven't heard anything around.
The word was he was like quitting all his other tours and stuff like that, which I'm sure there were many.
Because it starts in 48 hours.
but I mean like permanently, you know, like he's not he's not going to go. I don't know if I'm inventing that in my mind, but yeah.
So to bring this back around.
Yeah. What the hell were we talking about? Oh, the things that give me the ick. Yeah. I did. Yeah. I'm done complaining about music. You can go.
I'll complain now.
Okay.
I have two things that give me the ick. And they're both whammy bar related.
Okay.
And it's not that I don't like whammy bars. Is it the fact
that it's called a whammy bar? Because that annoys me.
Three things that give me the ick. No, it's when it's overusage of it, where it's like people are kind of like too fluidly bending up and down into the next note with the whammy bar.
Oh, that's interesting. When you said that, I was picturing when people think they're playing Guitar Hero, where you get more points if you just wiggle it constantly.
Do you know what I mean, though? Like,
yeah,
you see this in a lot of like prog stuff where there's just a lot of intense and varying degrees of whammy bar usage and
varying
vibrato.
Grotesqueries of whammy bar.
I'm going to write that down. That's very long, but I'm going to write it down. Varying grotesqueries. First try. Whammy bar.
We're professionals.
I have a degree in writing. So, what was I going to say? Oh, yeah, I don't like that kind of. I'm using it to move between notes.
You're using like a pitch wheel.
Yeah, I don't like that for guitar, and every now and then it's fine, but I think it often takes away from what you're playing because I want to hear the foundational note more most of the time. And this is not to say I don't like vibrato techniques and stuff like that, but I just think it's some people really lean on that as a style, and I think it's just too heavy-handed, and it turns me off of like it turns into like a technique showcase, and rather than my note choices, you know, like rather than the craft of this,
it becomes distracting from the music.
Every now and then you hit me with one or two, it's like, ooh, a little flair on that. I got you.
Right.
But I don't know. I don't have my guitars set up tonight to demonstrate that move, but I don't care for it. And the other one I don't care for, I think maybe more, is and Steve Vai does this all the time, when you like flip the bar around away from the strings, so it's like facing away, and you like hit it really hard, and it goes like clang, and it like makes that like fluttery,
so you like
bizarre,
whack it against the body of the guitar kind of deal.
Yeah, and it rapidly pitch shifts, like, and it's like and it makes this very bizarre robotic sound, and I think it sounds bad. I don't care for it at all.
It's like, it sounds like that is not a rock and roll noise making sound. You're not successfully just creating a cacophony. You're just annoying people.
Yeah, but it's like when you're sustaining a note. It's not just that the springs in the guitar are ringing. It's like this flutter. I don't know. He says, Matt, this is one of the coolest tricks, and I'm wrong.
That's good.
I don't think it's good. It just sounds like this sudden like explosion, like, and maybe that's the point, right? It could be that it's this sudden intense sound. I think a much cooler sound is striking the strings behind the nut. That is way more rock and roll to me.
I was in my mind while you're talking about this, I'm debating whether or not I should throw in that striking the strings above the nut sounds awful.
It's supposed to sound, but you like you only use it sparingly. Like, this is not one of the. It's never musical. That's the point, though. It's not supposed to be musical. Yeah. It's just this like crash of like clang, and then you blow into feedback, and it's this huge thing. And every now and then it sounds cool. It is a way cooler sound than hitting all your strings open or something like that.
Yeah.
Like hit me with a weird harmonic or like a weird pinch harmonic that's just like getting out of control, or this behind the nut thing where you very briefly it's chaos and then you mute it, right? That's a cool sound. It's a cool sound.
Yeah.
I'm 0 for 2. I don't know.
If you didn't tune your guitar to an open chord, then don't swing your string, like don't strum your strings open, right? Because you're playing a fuck up when you do that.
I am saying the same thing about the behind the nut and the trem flutter thing.
He's saying he likes the trem flutter thing worse than unlikes the no wait. Which one do you like more? Know. The nut is good. Comparatively good.
I think
both
behind
bad.
the nut is good. No. But like I think people use that trem thing as like because you can do it while you're playing. You can't do the nut thing while you're playing. So like it's this very brief moment that's kind of once per song, rather than the trem flutter it can become a theme a lot of the time, and it's like a little too crazy Floyd Rose shit. Look at me go. I don't know. Yeah, I know I'm saying the reason I like one is the reason I dislike the other. That's fucking life. Like I don't need to further explain that. I don't know. Fucking whatever.
Overdoing whammy. Okay.
I think it's just overdoing whammy in general is like the kind of the umbrella thing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, what is that? Is that what this whole song's about? Is the whammy bar? Get off my back.
Maybe. And I have the mastery trem on my Novo, and it's very subtle. It's like it doesn't move that much, kind of like a Bigsby.
Okay.
So I can't do a lot of this stuff, but I don't know.
If you were to push a Bigsby that far, it
goes like a quarter step out of tune.
Yeah.
I will embrace my wrongness. I feed off of your disapproval.
We're coming back around. Like, I'm pretty sure I'm wrong about mine too. Everybody seems to really dig that album. I think I prefer the other albums. Anyway, it's fine. I'm not.
The point of this, the funny video that I caught was like, everybody's like, "Ooh, I hate it when this happens," and everyone they're with is like, "What? Oh, that's so great!"
So exactly this then.
Yeah. I just thought it was kind of a funny thing. So anyway, I'm sure there's plenty of others.
Yeah. All right, that'll be a fun chat in the
We'll start a thread in Discord. What music or guitar technique gives you the ick?
All right. And here it looks like we've ticked over an hour. So
that's the thing of the week.
We fucked up. We meant to return to the mean, and instead we had interesting discussions again. What's going on?
Interesting?
Yeah, it kind of was. I think it was pretty good.
All right.
I think it was, are we up to, I think this is number 3 in episodes that weren't just
shit.
A series of little bits of garbage strung together. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, wait. Is this yours, Matt? Okay. The video where choose the heaviest riff and people say Enter Sandman when clearly it's Sad But True.
Oh, dude. Sad But True is fucking savage. Like that.
Sad But True is pretty nuts.
That should have been the lead single. Like that. Sad But True is just.
I disagree, because you're not the lead single. You're not picking out the heaviest song or the one that has the most lasting impact necessarily. You're sort of picking out the one that has the fastest impact, the most short-term impact.
Fucking Enter Sandman takes forever to start.
But the whole thing is hook. If you only heard 10 seconds, it would or less. If you heard the riff twice through, it'd be in your head already. Like if you'd never heard the song before, it takes only one of, so you've got like 8 sections of buildup, which by the way, just like
that's very Metallica.
AC/DC's terrible song that everybody loves, right? It does the same fucking thing. Takes a billion years to get going, right? But the thing is, it's in your head. It's there forever. And but that's the thing. They're making pop music at a certain point. We're talking about Metallica's Black Album. It's like the peak of
pop thrash,
of like what's supposed to be metal, but really is MTV at the time, right? And anyway, So I don't know. Like, I don't like pretty much anything about Bob Rock, but the bottom line is they did it. They did it, and I don't. Yeah. So they picked the right song, but yeah, Sad But True is a heavier riff, I suppose. But it's just,
I think
that doesn't mean it's the best single.
All right, if we're talking singles, then yeah, okay, I'm with you. But like, just that song fucks, and it is better than Enter Sandman. I'll just say it. I'm gonna end this Metallica discussion by throwing a grenade on this and saying that Fuel is one of their greatest songs, and it's because of that pop thing.
Yeah, I did not hate those couple
Load and Reload.
Yeah, those couple of post Black albums as much as everybody else did. I waited way longer. I waited until it was way after it was cool to fall off of Metallica
Fuel is just like so fun.
King Nothing. King Nothing is also from Load, isn't it?
Oh, I'm not sure.
That one's got a Reload. Okay, it's one of those. It's that one's got some killer Jason Newsted bass in it too. That song I remember. Okay, so it was Load. Yeah, I remember that song is the bass is the main thing in that song, and that's good. They should do that.
I like this. I think we need a little 3 to 5 minute recap every week on Metallica.
Okay, what's going on with Thing of the Week?
Got a song?
I'm gonna play. What am I gonna play? I'm gonna play this. Yeah.
Right on.
Dirty Little Secret.
Cool. I covered that song. The All American Reject song.
Well, in this case, it's a pedal.
It's the opener of our set. Enter Sandman is not heavier than Sad But True. Big agree.
Yeah, that could be a thing of the week. Yeah, definitely.
My thing of the week, though, is a TV show on Amazon Prime that I texted you about, and I need you, Justin. I desperately need you to watch Jury Duty.
Oh, yes. So we've talked about this before. I don't know if I don't think it probably wasn't on the show, but
no, we were just in the group chat about it, and we finished it last night. And I have to say, I think this is peak Justin Television, and I know that's a big statement, but I just have a lot of every episode. I'm like, Justin would fucking love this. He would lose his mind over that joke. And so, if you're not familiar, Jury Duty, I want to
do it. Yeah, for sure.
There's only like 8 or 9 episodes, and I don't know. There may not be another season. Like it does not really land with like, cliffhangers. It's not that kind of show. So it's a mix of mockumentary and reality TV, in that one of the cast members on the show is not an actor and does not know that everyone else is. So he is it's a courtroom comedy, basically.
So it's staged, but they don't know they're walking into a staged situation.
Correct. So it's the Truman Show. They really Truman showed this guy in real life. Yeah. And so they, how do I put this? So it's a mockumentary series about serving on a jury. Mm-hmm. And they pitched it to open casting as a documentary about serving on a jury, a true to life thing. And they sifted through all these auditions and stuff like that, and they found a guy. And turns out it's entirely fake. Fake case, fake courtroom, fake judge, fake everything. Everyone's a paid actor, hidden cameras, the whole nine. And
probably unhidden cameras, because he knows it's a documentary.
Yeah, so they're like interviewing about the case, like this is the first in American justice in that like cameras are allowed in and talking with the jury. It's like this big deal.
Yeah.
James Marsden is in it. He plays himself. Takes place in LA. So it's like this, he's there as like, I got called for jury duty, but I'm like about to get this big script, and like, it's distracting because I'm James Marsden. And so it's just extremely clever, because the entire production of the show has to stay one step ahead of this guy's real life decisions.
Right.
And so they're in real life responses.
They can't write really far ahead and stuff like that.
They can't. Yeah, right. And so the final episode, they pull back the curtain and they show you how they made the show in a very cool way. So that's not really a spoiler, but there's a little bit of a background look at the production and how they managed to get everyone like this. They show you bits of the script and bits of the call sheet, and it's like, if lead actor does this, we're going to go this direction. If he does not, we're going to go this direction. And they have all these contingencies.
It's like stuff. Dungeons and Dragons shit. It's like being prepared to take your players in the direction that they go.
But there's 100 people on this project, and they're all in on it except one guy. And they're
so fucked up.
It's so good. And it's like keeping that in mind about how they do it and stuff, like how this one guy doesn't know, makes the show just that much better. And I can't recommend it enough. So it's on Amazon Prime. It's called Jury Duty. It's so good.
Yeah,
it's
I know.
So
you've already talked to my wife about that, so I'm sure I'll be able to work it into the sketch there.
There's only like 8 or 9 episodes. It's a really short thing, and they're each like 30 minutes. So it's a low commitment kind of show.
Sweet. An extended punked, yeah.
It is, yeah.
It's punked, except they don't reveal it in the 15 minutes.
Yeah, and they're not about to get in a fight. Like it's not it's not violent or anything. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. What do I have? I don't know. Nothing that good. We've been watching a TV show about a documentary about a cult. My wife loves documentaries about cults. Oh Ooh. God, it's just it's simultaneously like juicy and interesting, but like it's horrifying and it gives me such a backache and oh God. Anyway,
did you guys see the one about friggin' Scientology, about Sea Org and stuff?
I saw the one HBO made years ago about Scientology. A long time ago. Yeah. That was kind of the first one where they got any kind of. They managed to find little ways to get in there a little bit. Yeah, that was pretty brutal. No, there nowadays it's usually like the cults that have happened in the last 10 years. It's unfortunately it's always college student. I don't know if it's always been this way, but it's always college students and it's always weird sex/money cult stuff. And it's horrifying. And anyway, I don't know if I recommend any of that. But that's what we've been doing. We don't have, my wife's in grad school. We don't have a lot of time. She takes classes at night. We sometimes don't see each other for 5 days.
Is she watching it in the same way? Like, does she like that stuff the way some people really like true crime stuff, you think?
A little bit, but with the added layer that she's literally studying mental health counseling.
Okay.
And so we're watching it and like observing the states and the psychoses of the perpetrators and what happens to the victims and the states and the essentially the disease states that these poor people get put into, physical tics so and stuff. And oh my God, it really is. And I, once again, can't recommend it without the enough at the end of that sentence. So
I got a recommendation that you can give is that Sleep Token album.
Yeah, okay, there we go. So the new Sleep Token album finally fully released, and it's even more of a banger than it seemed like it was going to be when you only heard half of it. Because for some reason, when you put the whole thing together, I mean, anyway, it's
that
great.
Band, dude,
it's great.
I don't want to go on about it again, but like, I heard in a clip from some other podcast about like the thing that makes them special is that they don't lean too hard on one thing. So when the super massive heavy part comes in, it's exciting and special.
Right.
And then
they
when
don't
the
spend
pop
all day there, they don't even spend the whole song.
And nor do
on
they
it.
spend all day on the part that's like a trap beat that you might hear like in a club. It makes it all special.
Yep. It sounds fantastic. The mixing's fantastic. There's just enough of that. I mean, it's very like affect kind of playing a character kind of sounding, like theatrical kind of music, but it's not like embarrassing in that way. It's really like it's just nice. They've really threaded a needle. I like it a lot.
Yeah. So, seeing them
good rec
in September. Looking forward to it. I might die at that show. All right, let's thank the patrons.
We'll all know what happened. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks everybody for watching/listening. It has been a time and to end a day. So what's going to happen now? Well, I have been the tone control and I never know what I'm saying when I get to this part of the program. So anyway, thanks to everybody. Please join our Discord and have a chat. I think we'll be talking about music techniques that give you the ick, or what's the heaviest and best Metallica song. I'm not sure, but Discord's totally free. Come join us. Discord.io/the Tone Control. And if you want to support the show, let's talk about how you said program.
It's like pilgrim.
Is that out of character for me? I do not think that it is.
Yeah, by the way, Justin says that all the fucking time.
The fucking time.
Get with the program, guys.
Get with the program. It's if I could say the tone control in some way like that, I would. But I haven't figured out how. You just got to do
different emphases.
The tone control.
Just like
I haven't got it.
The tone control.
I do that when I read my daughter's stories. I emphasize all wrongly. Like I'm trying to get. It's almost the AI voice, like when you have the old TikTok voice before they made it better, and it would like narrate things with the wrong inflection. Like it's just kind of fucked up like that. Yeah. I try to do that and like pause in the wrong places in sentences. Anyway, I like when my daughter laughs at me. So if you want to support the show, go to patreon.com/the Tone Control, and that will be very awesome. I can't look at the chat right now. So anyway, let's thank everyone. The supporters include thanks to Nick Greenwood, Carson Ricketts, Matthew Fenslaw, Ryzen Wolf, Jamie Evans, Doug King, Big Daddy Doug, Steve Huffman, Falafel Lasagna. Lasagna? Is that how you spell lasagna?
Did I spell it wrong? No, that's how you spell lasagna.
Cool. Brian Gower of the Tone Jerks podcast, Mako Guitars, Andrew Walsh of Andrew's Alcove, Doug Christ of 37 Effects, and Sean Wright of Lollygagger Effects. I don't know, for some reason I thought it had an I in it or something. I'm just stupid. Don't worry about me.
Okay.
So, yeah. All right. It's episode. No, we're not using that episode title. All right. See you next time.
See ya. Bye.